So the heart stops beating, the breath fades away, the body goes cold. Everyone thinks that is it. They think the struggle is over and it is time to rest in peace. Big mistake. Huge mistake. That is not how it works here. The end of life is actually just the orientation day for the hardest workout in the history of existence. Welcome to the Underworld. It is not a place of fire and brimstone like some other stories tell. It is an obstacle course, a 4-year-long trek through the absolute worst terrain imaginable, designed to break a spirit down until there is nothing left but dust. The journey starts right at the edge of a massive, rushing river. It is wide, it is dark, and the current looks strong enough to drag anything under. This is the first test. Standing on the bank, the soul looks across. There is no bridge, there is no boat, there is only the water. But wait, there is something on the other side. A dog. A yellowish, hairless dog is pacing back and forth. This is the guide. If the traveler was kind to dogs back in the land of the living, the creature will swim over and help. It will carry the burden across the water on its back. But if the traveler was mean to dogs, kick them or starve them, well, tough luck. The dog will just sit there and watch. The soul will be stuck on the bank forever, staring at the water, never starting the journey. But let's assume the traveler was decent. The dog helps. The water is cold, but the other side is reached. That was the easy part. Seriously, that was the warm-up. Now the real landscape reveals itself. 2 giant mountains loom ahead. They are huge, rocky, and imposing, but they are not standing still. They are moving. Slowly, grindingly, they pull apart, creating a path between them. Then, with a sound like the earth cracking open, they slam back together. They crash with enough force to turn bone into powder. The traveler has to time it perfectly. One has to wait for the opening, then run. Run fast. There is no room for hesitation. If the timing is off, the mountains clap shut, and the journey ends right there in a spray of dust. It's a game of chicken with geology. The ground shakes every time they collide. The air fills with debris. The soul waits, muscles tense, watching the rhythm. Open, close, open, close, go. Making it past the crushing mountains doesn't mean safety. It just leads to the next nightmare. A mountain made entirely of obsidian, razor-sharp volcanic glass covering every inch of the surface. There is no path here, only sharp edges. To move forward, the traveler has to climb. Every step cuts, every grab slices. The glass tears at the spectral form. It is not just physical pain, it's a shredding of the essence. The wind howls around the jagged peaks, but the focus is entirely on the ground. Don't slip. Slipping means sliding down a cheese grater the size of a hill. The descent is just as bad as the ascent. By the time the bottom is reached, the traveler is tattered, shredded, and exhausted, but there is no time to stop. Because next comes the cold, not just a chilly breeze, but a cold that freezes time. This is the region of the freezing winds. But it's not just air. The wind carries shards of obsidian. Imagine a blizzard, but instead of snow, it's millions of tiny invisible knives flying at hurricane speeds. It cuts through everything. It scrapes the flesh from the bone, or whatever substance the soul is made of. The traveler has to walk into this headwind. It pushes back. It wants to knock the intruder down. It screams in the ears, a constant, deafening roar. There is no shelter, no caves to hide in. Just an endless flat plain of misery where the air itself is a weapon. If the wind doesn't shred the traveler, it tries to blow them away. The next zone is where gravity seems to give up. The wind here is so powerful it lifts the soul off the ground. The traveler becomes like a flag flapping in a storm. There is no control, no walking, just being tossed around, flipped over, spun in circles. It is disorienting. Up becomes down, left becomes right. The soul is at the mercy of the gale. It's a test of endurance, of holding on to the self when the world is trying to scatter the pieces. Eventually, the wind drops the battered traveler back on solid ground, likely miles from where the flight started, but hopefully in the right direction. Then comes the path of arrows. Yes, arrows. Invisible hands shoot loose arrows from the darkness. There is no enemy to fight, no archer to dodge, just arrows flying through the air, whizzing by, striking randomly. The traveler has to walk through this gauntlet. Getting hit is inevitable. It's about taking the hit and keeping moving. It feels unfair. It feels cruel. But that's the point. The underworld doesn't care about fairness. It cares about persistence. The traveler bleeds, limps, and stumbles, but must continue forward. Just when it seems like it can't get more physically brutal, the beasts arrive. Jaguars, great hungry beasts that roam the dark path. But they don't want the arms or legs, they want the heart. This is the stage where the traveler is pinned down. A jaguar leaps from the shadows. It tears open the chest. It eats the heart. It's a visceral, terrifying moment. The core of the being, the seat of emotion and life, is devoured. It feels like the ultimate violation. The traveler is left hollow, literally, a chest with a gaping hole. But strangely, the journey continues. The soul must get up, heartless, and keep walking. It's a shedding of earthly desires. Without a heart, there is no more longing, no more pain of loss, just the drive to finish. The path leads to water again, but this isn't the river from the start. This is black water, dark, murky, and unsettling. The traveler has to wade into it. It enters the chest cavity where the heart used to be. It washes through the body. This is not a bath. It is a disintegration. The flesh, the memories, the personality, it all starts to dissolve. The black water strips away the last remnants of the identity that was held so specifically in life. The name, the history, the status, it all floats away in the dark current. The traveler becomes lighter, less defined, a shadow of a shadow. Finally, the mist, the 9th level. This is the end of the road, a thick, heavy fog that hides everything. There is no pain here, no wind, no jaguars, just silence. The traveler, now stripped of everything, body, heart, identity, memory, enters the mist. It is the place of rest, but it is not a heaven with clouds and harps. It is ceasing to exist as an individual. The struggle is over, because the struggler is gone. The 4-year journey of endurance concludes not with a prize, but with release. The energy returns to the universe. The obstacle course is beaten. The finish line is crossed. And finally, truly, there is peace. The long, brutal grind is done. The soul sleeps.